Hi guys, Rachel here. How is everyone? Yeah, I've been wanting to do a video for a while and I've just been, probably like most of you, just really busy with summer stuff. So, yeah, let's just try to get into it. I'll probably flip the camera around at some point, so you can see some of the stuff that I got and I've been working with. But, yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to really tell you about what I've been up to because I've been feeling really excited and creative, and that's difficult for me to talk about honestly without sounding crazy, I guess, in a good way. Yeah, I forget where I left off with my at presents, but I think I already talked about how crazy the beginning of summer was and how I had, I was anticipating the visit of my sister with her son, who is my nephew. And we just, you know, we took my sister and my brother and my nephew around, you know, the local sites like Salem and Boston, and went swimming at the beach. One of my favorite memories of that trip was collecting sea glass. My daughter and my sister and I just for like 2 hours just sat there all hunched over. It was like we must have looked like one creature with three heads, you know, and six arms, just like digging for sea glass and chatting and laughing maniacally about our finds. And the guys didn't really get it, but who cares? Just got home from date night. That was fun because my daughter is with her father tonight. He's moving out of state soon. And that's, you know, going to present itself. And it's been a little difficult for my daughter, but she's been handling it pretty well. He's like moving to Florida. So that's a big change. Boyfriend just came home from Milwaukee. He had this conference for work. He had to go to Vegas in June for a week for another work-related thing, just musician stuff, you know. But prior to that, we spent 2 days in Salem, and I mean, I've mentioned many times, like, we go all the time. It's pretty local for us, but we wanted to take a little trip this summer, and we were weighing our options. We didn't have time to go to a couple of the places in New England we were thinking about, like Ogunquit, Maine is a special place for us, but we just didn't have the time or the means. And so we just thought, compared to all of the places that we could visit and stay, we decided Salem because it's just so versatile. There's just so much to do there, and we don't have to waste any time with, you know, train schedules or Ubers or any of that. I can just drive there. I'm comfortable driving there, and we can park there, and it's only like half an hour away. It's awesome. So we did that. And we stayed at the Hawthorne Hotel, you know, and that was fun. I've never stayed at the Hawthorne before. I've stayed at other places in Salem, but never the Hawthorne, and I would definitely go back. We had dinner there in the tavern, and it's like this fully wood-paneled tavern bar with a fireplace, and the chairs that you sit in are high-backed and cushioned with armrests. And I was sitting there with my Moscow Mule, and I remembered like leaning my head, you know, against the chair back, and I said, I want to live here. My boyfriend thought that was funny. The thing I really loved about the bar, aside from the beautiful wood paneling and the Japanese painting they had along the backsplash, was that there was one television, just one television. Like everywhere I go now, any bar or restaurant I go, there's like 6 or 7 or 8 TVs. It's ridiculous. So I liked it. There was just this one little TV. So anyway, that was nice. So the first thing that we picked up on our trip was this guy. Look at him. Have you guys seen my cat? Have you seen pictures of Stormy? I always like insert him at the ends of my videos. So it was so funny. So we got this guy, and we had him in our hotel room, just kind of sitting on the floor, and not just me, but my boyfriend and my daughter, we kept mistaking this for Stormy, this cute little black cat. Oh my gosh. So where do I begin? I don't know where I should begin. I'm just sort of all over the place. And like I said, I'll probably flip the camera around at some point. I have just been having an adventure with music and literature and history and just studying. So I don't know a lot if there's a lot of like tarot related stuff to talk about, but I mean, it's all like interrelated anyway, isn't it? I've been noticing a lot of synchronicity with my dreams and with what I'm reading and listening to and just witnessing in my daily life. And it's just been a wild ride. And like I said, I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's, it gets kind of personal. And at some point, if after I write about it more, I might. But for example, speaking of music, so I mentioned in my last 2 videos, actually, I think, how I started reading this Jim Morrison biography. And I mentioned how it was so uncanny that everything that I was reading was just so in sync with everything that I was exploring already. And the only reason I was reading the book was because I just had this idea, like, to do it. And I've been listening to their music for years. And honestly, the past few years, probably not so much. But it just kind of came to me like you should, re-explore a lot of that music that you listened to when you were younger. It's been such a wild ride. So I finished reading this. It was good, but I want more. I guess this is like a little bit sensationalized, like maybe kind of like the movie, but speaking of synchronicities, so like Jim Morrison, really brilliant guy. I mean, I didn't really know that much about him. I knew about like, his wild man sort of, persona and everything, but not anything really beyond that. Before I even started reading that or even had the idea to, I had picked up this book that I had bought some months ago. It's called Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, because I just felt compelled to. There's a lot going on right now in the world and it just made sense. And this was written in, the 1800s. And I think I talked about this in another video. So here we are with synchronicity. So Jim Morrison, when he was in college, he studied like crowds and mass hysteria, and he like wrote some big paper on it, and he worked alongside his professor. And I think I read that like the majority of the class didn't even know what they were talking about. It was so above everybody else's heads. But there we are with like basically like the ideas in this book. And I don't think he read this, or he might have. He read everything. I didn't really. He read like everything. So I was reading about the author of this book. I found it. He was Scottish, and Jim Morrison had some Scottish descent, and his father was in the Navy, and so was Jim Morrison's father. He was an admiral in the Navy, and so he wrote this book about crowds, which Jim Morrison was very interested in that. But he also, this guy, Charles Mackay, he was known for songwriting. He had a lot of songs published. So that's just sort of, what does it all mean? I don't know. Does it matter? It doesn't really matter. But there's just something to explore with the Doors. I just can't deny that. There's other groups that I like to listen to. Like I said, I've been listening to like Led Zeppelin for years, and there's just something about the Doors. It's like one of the things I love about one of my favorite authors, Nabokov, is that his novels are flowered with motif, right? And he was obsessed with metaphysics and the idea that time is not linear. And I love that. And like, you probably, if you know me, you know, like, I love Doctor Who, and they're all over that concept of time not being linear. But going back to the motif and also time, if you're observant enough, perceptive enough, you will notice that in your life and in your dreams. You'll notice this motif. And it just, you don't even have to know why. Like, sometimes it'll present itself maybe a decade later. But it takes the mundane and it twists it round, and it illuminates everything. It illuminates life, no matter what you believe in. You know, maybe you're a total atheist, and that's fine. And it just illuminates everything. So I love that. I'm all there for that. And we like to take what we're reading. When I say we, I mean like myself, my boyfriend, and my daughter. We like to take what we're reading and what we're listening to and pepper it, like sprinkle it throughout our daily existence and just make it a part of our lives. Do you know what I mean? It's like when I was a teenager and Lord of the Rings was still in the theaters, like my friends and I went to see it so many times that I can't watch it anymore without laughing, really, because we were so obnoxious in those days that we made our own dialogue and everything. But we also really loved the movies. Like, when you really love something, it's okay to also sort of mock it in a way. But you make it part of your life instead of longing that you could be there in that setting or that, you know, that magical world. Well, you can bring it into your own life and make it yours. And that's what we do. So, for example, we were in Salem at the hotel, and we were eating breakfast in Nathaniel's, this little restaurant in the hotel, and there was a piano, you know, like a grand piano, and my daughter plays piano. And we told her, like, oh, you should go play. You know, we were just teasing her, and she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, just go bang on the keys and be like, City of Night. You know, we were all like laughing because, you know, City of Night, like that's Doors lyrics from LA Woman. And we're just walking around, and my boyfriend is like screaming out like different random Doors lyrics and trying to sound like Jim. And it's just so funny. And my daughter is completely embarrassed, but we're having a ball. And I don't know if any of this is making sense, but this has been my life. We're just having fun. So let's see. I'll just show you some stuff. So my daughter, at one of the little shops there, she got some little Greek gods like Demeter and Apollo and Hestia. I got a little Anubis. So cute. This is from a few weeks ago. We were at the museum, and they had these beautiful little sculptures from Egypt, and I love Bastet, and I got this beautiful Bastet. Love this. When we were in Salem recently, I kept walking back into this shop. It's one of my favorite shops. I just could not stop thinking about this little statue of Bastet. And I don't know if you can really see, or not Bastet, did I say Sekhmet? Sorry. You know, it's a cat. I just could not stop thinking about it. And I'm so glad that I bought her, because shortly after I was trying to find out more about where this came from, and they took it down off the site. I got the last one, and I found all sorts of Sekhmet statues all over the internet, and various different storefronts sell the same statues. And this one, I can't find it anywhere. So this was the one that just really stuck out for me. And I love her. And it's funny because like my dreams lately have been insane. And I've been having dreams about, I'm not going to go into details because it's actually pretty dark, but cats turning into people. And that was something that I was dreaming about like over a decade ago. And then shortly after having those dreams, some very traumatic things happened in my life that changed my life forever. Now, are those two things related? I don't know, not necessarily. I have no idea what that means, but I haven't dreamt about cat people since. So now that they're back, I'm thinking about it like, oh, like I wonder what's going to happen, or maybe nothing at all. But I noticed these correlations and things. But then I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like that, like Sekhmet, like cat people. Maybe that's the only reason why. But why was I compelled? Why was I so compelled to buy her? I don't know. And speaking of that, so I started reading this harmonization of the polarities because it's about Sekhmet, and I thought harmonization of the polarities, that's pretty cool, you know, like she represents war but also healing. This is all like real stuff. This is all, you know, something I want to know more about. But then as I've gotten into it, I'm like, okay, this is not for me. I'm not going to explain why. This is for some people. It's not for me, but I'm going to finish it anyway. I have another book on her, on the goddess that I can read. This is probably more what I'm looking for. Olivia Church, just a quick little guide. I read the one on Isis. So I'm sorry, this video is all over the freaking place. I thought I was ready for this. What else have I gotten? This is really cool. I got this at one of my favorite places in town. And this, if you're familiar with the Ancestral Path Tarot, this is the out of print little guy version that I was talking about in one of my videos. I forget which one. It might have been only 10 mass market decks. I have the big version, which I think, actually, I love it. I think it does the paintings more justice. But because it's so giant, it's hard to use. So I kind of wanted the smaller out of print version. But I didn't want to, you know, spend over $100 on it. But this was at the shop for 20 bucks. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. So after I flip the camera around, I might show it, or maybe I'll do a video comparing. I don't know. But that was really, really exciting. Yeah, I don't know where to begin. I had a birthday recently. I got some stuff, like my daughter got me this cute little candle with a stone, and it says, you know, strength, tarot related, because strength is, I'm a Leo. So sweet. My sister, when she was visiting, she got me the Bosch Tarot, which I've been wanting this for a while. And this is another cool synchronicity with Jim Morrison that I didn't know until after I got this, and I was reading more about him, but he loved this guy and wrote like a whole paper on it. So I picked this crystal ball up. I love green. I've been looking at these for a long time, and I got this at one of my favorite shops in town. So oh, I just love it. And my cat loves it. I brought it home and he kept like staring at it and like scenting it, you know. It's so funny. Sorry, I'm in a really good mood, so I might be a little goofy. I don't know. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I'm so all over the place. I was talking about my visit in Salem, right? I should probably just flip the camera around, and then maybe I can think better and show you guys things. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so where were we? So what have I been using recently? The Tarot of the Greek Magical Papyri. So I have 2 copies of this. I've had this one for quite some time, but I recently bought another copy because one day I had a reading sitting out on the bed, and My daughter, she likes to go after the cat. When he's sitting on my bed, that's his happy place. He loves for me to sit on the bed with him. And only I can sit on the bed with him. But my daughter likes to go in there, and she loves to lean across the bed. And if he tries to get up, she tries to, you know, hold him prisoner there. So long story short, I was working from home outside of the room, and I come in, and one of these cards had a big crease in it because I left my reading out on the bed, which I do readings in bed a lot. I don't know, I should be in here, but that's what I do because Stormy likes me to be on the bed, and he's so spoiled. So I kind of freaked out. I was like, and I wanted to buy a backup of this deck anyway, because I see myself using this. So this is a special deck. Jason Augustus Newcomb, he drew these himself based on red and black figure pottery. And I love that. Like, I love that this whole deck resembles the red and black figure pottery of ancient Greece. But he was also obviously working with the Greek magical papyri. So throughout the deck, he's incorporated, like different like talismans and things that resemble different, I guess, spells from the collection of papyri. It's a beautiful deck. I should probably do a whole walkthrough of it. The majors are red figure, and the minors are black figure. And I should do, and there's also, it's more than 78 cards. I forget how many cards are in the deck, but he has extra majors, which I really love. And I like that nothing is numbered, so it just makes for a more aesthetically pleasing appearance. This is the book. Sorry. This is the book. So I've been reading through this. And in the back, he highlights some of the spells, which I can't wait to get to because I have been reading slowly, like leisurely at night, this. The Greek Magical Papyri in translation. This, you should probably just look it up yourself. Maybe I'll do like a more of an in-depth video on this. I'm sure that there are some out there on the Greek Magical Papyri. But yeah, they're basically a bunch of spells written in Greek and Old Coptic and some other languages, and I think they were primarily found in Egypt. But it's really cool. It's been really fun, and I've been meaning to do maybe a walkthrough with it for it, but I don't think I'm prepared for that yet, and I've just not had time. Another deck that I've been working with a lot recently is the Ancient Mysteries Tarot deck. So I saw this deck on Anna Astrolady's channel. Love her stuff. And I bought the book too, and I've flipped through the book. I don't have it here with me. But I think I'm gonna really dig it. It's different. I'm not gonna talk too much about this, but Anna has some videos on this. I love the graininess of this deck and the fact that it's not high def, because it just brings me back to a time where things could be more immersive. I love the because you had to use your imagination. Like, you have to place yourself there. Somehow these heavy borders like really place me there. It feels like stepping into a film or an old documentary, an archaeology. I love that the wands are like these photos of candles. I love that. So I've been really enjoying this, and I've been working with the Ritual Tarot still, as I mentioned in my previous video, but I'm not going to pull that one out right now. Now, this deck is very affordable. I thought that this was going to be an out-of-print deck, and I was surprised to find that it's not. I got this on, I don't remember actually if I got it on eBay or Amazon, but it was like 20 bucks. And the book was around the same price, or maybe 15 bucks. And I can't wait to read that. So it's really beautiful. And I've been having fun with that. What else, guys? I've been using the Isis Oracle a little bit here and there at night, as I've mentioned. And, you know, working alongside the guidebook, I haven't done any of, you know, like the ritual suggestions or anything. I'm really intrigued by them. But, yeah, I've been really, having a nice time with this and finding the messages resonating with where I'm at. You know, a personal sort of thing. So I love this deck. I don't care what anybody says about it. And I recently bought the pocket version. It was very inexpensive, and I really like the look of it. Let's see, what else? So I already told you about this, and I'll show you some cards. I wish I could tell you more about how I feel about this, but truth be told, lately I have been so lost in what I've been reading, and not all of it like tarot related, that that's just where I am. And I actually had a little bit of a disconnect with my readings for a time, because what I really wanted to be doing when I was doing readings was just reading books and listening to music. But that's all part of the experience, isn't it? I mean, it's all part of it. It's a beautiful deck. I know that another one came out recently, and I don't remember who the publisher is. Like, this is a Los Scarabeo one. I don't know as the other one is. And I saw it floating around a couple of shops in Salem. But this was the one that I wanted. Maybe I'll check the other one out at some point. But yeah, so crazy that as I mentioned, I was thinking about this deck a lot, and my sister got it for me. And then as I was continuing the biography on Jim Morrison, I found out that he wrote like this big research paper on it or something. I mean, it's so cool. So what else? I don't even know if I remembered to bring all my decks in here. Okay, so I got this recently thanks to Honey Lou. Love Honey Lou. Now, I'll admit, when this arrived, I was a little disappointed. It's not the seller's fault. I knew that it was, I knew that the box was different than the copy that I had been watching walkthroughs of, but I just assumed that it was, that the cards were going to be the same. And they're not. They're smaller than I had anticipated. And I don't know, they're just a little grainier, not as, I thought this was going to look and feel more like the medieval Scapini. This is a Scapini deck, and it's not. So I just recently ordered, I'm hoping the correct version from a seller in Italy, and it's on its way. And I hope it's what I want. And I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep this. And this is still lovely. The cards feel nice and durable. But I was expecting something else. So maybe at some point I will do a side-by-side. If anyone else is interested in this deck and they want to know the difference. I mean, they're both out-of-print decks. This was not cheap. I got this one because it was a little bit cheaper than the other version. But I found one. I think it's the right one. Hopefully the product image is correct. For not too much more than what I paid for that one. All right. So let's see. Now, when I was in Salem recently, I got this. This one I want to do a video, like I want to do a walkthrough of this. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and every time I saw it, I just wasn't what I wanted to spend on it. But I love the Thoth. Everybody knows that. Comes with this hardcover book by Akron and Hajo Bazaf. I have a couple of their books. It seems like it's going to be a nice little guidebook. All of the little white books, by the way, in the Thoth decks, published by US Games, seem to be good. This is a US Games production. So, okay, I got this because this was in one of my absolute favorite shops in Salem. And there might be a couple of retailers out there. Maybe I could find it for more of a bargain, but I thought, like, I saw this and I didn't buy it, and then I was there again a week later and they still had it in the glass case. And you know, it was brand new. They had a couple copies, and I thought, I circled the shop with a couple of things that we were going to buy, like a couple little statues, a couple little books. And I kept thinking and thinking, and I thought, okay, I'm having such a great time. What better time to buy one of my dream decks than in a shop in person, one of my favorite places, on probably the best day that I've had all summer long. So every time that I use this deck, I think of that day, and I think of when I opened it up in the Hawthorne Hotel. And I love gilding, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted it. And I'm not going to go through the whole deck. I haven't used this yet. The differences between this and the standard US Games Deluxe size are very subtle, but there are differences. And for that reason, I'm hoping that I'll soon make a quick little video comparing the two. I'll tell you right off the bat, the borders are a little bit different. These are nicer, and the images themselves are a little bit larger. And the coloring, the vibrancy is very subtle. In some cards, you notice it more than others. Some are just about identical, and then others you see a difference. The differences aren't as drastic as in like a comparison between this and like a greenie or something, you know, or an AGM deck. But this is lovely, and I love gilding. I know not everybody does, but I do. And I'm very, very happy with this. It's beautiful. So so excited about that. All right. Now that might be it for decks for the time being. Like I said, I've only been working with a few decks. I've been working with the Tarot of the Greek Magical Papyri, as I was saying, and this deserves its own walkthrough. The Bosch Tarot. I've been working with the Ritual Tarot. I've been working with my Thoth. Yeah, not really much else. The Ancestral Path that I told you I got this for 20 bucks. And this is something that I see online used for, you know, 100 or more. So I was so thrilled with. And maybe I'll do like a side-by-side of this at some point. The larger edition is just gorgeous. But it's just a little bit too big to use practically sometimes. So I was using this one night. We were staying in a hotel by the airport. So you have this beautiful view of the city. And my sister was just in love with the view. She lives back home where I'm from, and she hadn't been here in a while, and she loves the city and the art museums and the history and everything. And so yeah, when I use this deck, I think of that time of being very happy with my sister in the city at night. City of Night. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful deck. And I've been using also, speaking of Julia Kuchia-Watts, I've been using my Journey into Egypt a bit. I meant to bring that in and I haven't. And I'm really sorry. I realized that my videos lately, I have not done the best job showing my decks as I should. I'm sure that's why a lot of you are here. Anyway, okay, so I'll try not to make this too long. So recently I finished The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. And wow, did I have such a fun time. I just feel so much better about the way that I've chosen to live my life. I just feel like I'm not as far behind as I thought, and I've been on the right path all along. That's what I can say about this, summing it up. I think most of you are familiar with Joseph Campbell and this book, and I plan on trying to watch the PBS series with my family soon. And I got my sister into Joseph Campbell. We were visiting various bookstores. We have a lovely used bookstore in town, and I grabbed a Joseph Campbell book for her. And I just knew, I know she loves mythology, and I thought this could be very helpful for her during this time. And she told me she just finished The Hero's Journey a couple of days ago, and she loved it and she wants more. So I have been taking notes based on all of the markers that I left in the book. And again, like, I'm reading this and it's just lining up with so much that I read in the Jim Morrison biography. It's insane. It's so cool. I'm having such a great time with reading. So speaking of Jim, again, this was the one I was telling you about. I started reading. I haven't gotten too far. I'm only on page like 50 or something. But I think this is going to be a little bit more in depth. Maybe a little bit less sensationalized. Ooh, I bought this recently when I was in Salem when we were staying in the Hawthorne Hotel. So yeah, Joseph Campbell. I am reading Claudius. Oh my gosh, Robert Graves. I just want to learn everything about Robert Graves. He's just so fascinating. Like T.H. White, you know, World War One vet. He was known as a World War One poet, which I want to read that poetry. And just, he met T.E. Lawrence, you know, Lawrence of Arabia, and there's so many other things that I want to read. And I've had this for such a long time. And the reason that I started reading it, it wasn't even supposed to be on my list for this year. We brought a blanket out in the yard one day. My daughter likes to sit on a blanket in the yard and read, and we write like goofy poetry and stuff, like satirical poetry, just sort of stream of consciousness stuff. But I didn't have my book selected, and she grabbed this and she's like, "Here's your book, Mom." And I'm like, "What? That's not what I'm reading." But I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to. I think this is the time. So oh my gosh, I'm having a really nice time with that. I'm not as far into it as I'd like because I'm reading a lot of books right now. Like I said, I picked this up recently and I'm not too far into this. What else? Like I said, I'm reading the Greek Magical Papyri and the Guide to the Tarot of the Greek Magical Papyri. I'm still reading a couple of other tarot books. I'm reading some esoteric magazine right now. When I was in Salem, I got, where is it? I bought, it's not in here. I bought 777 by Aleister Crowley. Wanting that for a long time. Finally got the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's going to be beautiful. For my birthday, my boyfriend bought me this. This was on my list, Bowie's Bookshelf. I love books like this. The 100 Books That Changed David Bowie's Life. So he only traveled by train, I believe, and he carried with him this big trunk built for books. Like, it housed all sorts of books. And Richard Burton traveled like that as well, you know. I love that. So this talks about all of the books that made a big impact on him. And I've been a little bit reluctant to open this, and I'm sure you can probably guess why. It's because it's going to give me even more books to put on my list and want to buy or take out of the library or start reading right now. Like, that's my problem, is I want to read everything, like, right now. I'm still, you know, working on T. Susan Chang's 36 Secrets. I recently in Salem, I found this cool book. I picked it up on a whim. I didn't even look through their books very much. They have used books in this shop. It's the same shop that I bought my crystal ball. The Portable Dragon, The Western Man's Guide to the I Ching. And it is going to be such a cool book. Poets and scientists, tyrants and saints, hermits and adventurers, storytellers and men of letters. Pick up the book, feel it, then throw it away. It quotes all sorts of people, authors and politicians and philosophers, and I think this is just, I'm so excited about this, and I want to start reading it right now, and I can't. I'm reading too many things right now. I picked this up, You Are Beautiful and You Are Alone, the biography of Nico. Another book that I wish I could just start reading right now, but I'm going to wait. This book I have wanted for a long time, and I finally caved and got it, and it's Dionysus, Archetypal Image of Indestructible Life by Carl Carani. Oh my god. So I found a good deal on this book, and I just can't wait. Yeah, I have this little statue of Dionysus. I've been waiting for it for a while. It's coming from Greece, and it took me forever to find a statue of Dionysus that wasn't cringy. They all just seem sort of cringy to me, and I really liked this one. So I can't wait, and I'm sure I'll show it to you when it arrives. Oh my gosh, like, what else? I feel like I'm forgetting things. Okay, so I think that's about it. So I'll try to wrap this up. So I don't know if I mentioned, but you guys can probably tell that I haven't done anything with this room. I mentioned in my, what video was it? My room tour, that I was going to put my barrister bookcase in here, and I haven't gotten around to it, obviously. I haven't had any time. Um, so it's a little bit chaotic back there. I hope that hasn't been too distracting for you. But anyway, I hope you guys have all been having a good summer. I have. It's been really rainy and weird, so I haven't had as much time at the beach as I would hope. Like, for example, when we were staying in Salem, we spent 2 days and 1 night at the Hawthorne Hotel, as I was saying, and I was hoping that we were going to go to the beach, but we didn't get to because the weather was too iffy. But instead, we just had a blast, just like hanging around and like going to our favorite restaurants. We met up with one of our friend, a family friend that lives there, and at one of our favorite restaurants, and just had a beer and some dinner. And I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going on about, but I guess I'm trying to say, even though there was a slight change of plans because of the weather, it wasn't any detriment to our fun. And yeah, you have to be able to handle the unexpected. And yeah, I think that's about it. And I hope to be back soon with maybe a couple of walkthroughs, like I said, of the Thoth deck or the Greek Magical Papyri. Maybe a side-by-side of the Ancestral Path, or let me know, is there anything that you guys want me to talk about or show more? I'll try. I'm sure I'll have a little bit more time soon as summer's wrapping up, and maybe I'll be home a little bit more. But yeah, I've been so busy, and when I have time to do things, I'm just reading or studying or, you know, music or just things like that. So, okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.